This has been a pretty exciting week. Not only are we going to take a look at some brand new American muscle from Mini GT, but I also found some stuff in stores for the first time in over a month, which is kind of mind blowing to me. So we've got a lot of really cool stuff to take a look at, and we're going to dive in right away with this Ford Mustang Shelby GT500 from Mini GT. This is a brand new casting in Ford Performance Blue, collector number 268. And this thing looks like it's probably going to be pretty impressive. I've obviously not looked at it myself yet, so let's get it out of the box. Wow. I tell you, Mini GT, just love them. Again, it's that jewel-like quality that they have. Just seem so pristine, although this one does have a little bit of a mirror issue. It's a little bent. Somebody had been asking me if I could do a video on how to fix Mini GT mirrors, and I was like, I had never had any problems with them. Yeah, well, now I have. So you've got your inserted details for the tail lights, front, headlights, beautiful grille with the Shelby logo in the middle there, and still no detail on the base, or no information on the base, I should say. It's nice. It does have some undercarriage detail, and it looks like maybe even separate pieces for the exhausts, and then a separate piece for the wing with a carbon fiber finish to it. This thing is very cool. Wheels look great. No brake discs or rotors, of course, and of course it's a Mini GT, so it's gonna roll beautifully. Color's beautiful. Just a beautiful model. Yeah, that mirror. See if I can figure out how to fix that. Maybe I'll do a video on how to fix the mirrors then. All right. Ooh, that's sorry for the crinkling of the plastic. Next up. So speaking of in-store finds, I have found a small trickle of items in store. Not a lot, and it seems that most of the stuff that's hitting stores is still getting picked up pretty fast. So I did find this. This is the first 2022 Matchbox that I've found. So this is the 2022 Mix 1 of the Collector's Edition. And this looks to me like Matchbox is kind of trying to step up their game with this series. And I really hope that that's true, because this has a Pagani, has a GTR, has this funny little Nissan, or Honda pickup truck, this Jaguar, and then the Datsun 280Z. The Jaguar is the only one that I found, but I was shocked to even find this. I didn't realize these were actually hitting stores yet. So this is very cool to see, and I am really hoping that they are trying to step up the game with this series. Because last year the series was a bit of a mixed bag. Had some cool stuff in it, but there were some castings that were in there that were they were real misses. But this one looks pretty cool. Most notable thing about it is it does not have any moving parts, which for me, as far as a collector's series go, I'm actually very glad to see that. I wish that they would just do the moving parts in the moving parts series and not try to include that in this particular series, because I don't think that these models need it. I would like to see them focus more on making truly premium models and not so much on moving parts. But this is a metal body, but it's a plastic base, but it does have rubber tires. These wheels actually look pretty good. Of the wheels that they use in this series, these are some of the better ones. I would like to see them do some better wheels. This car, I'm not sure about these lines on the side. It doesn't look terrible, but I think this car would have just looked better if it was just red. It is just a gloss red, and then of course it has full detail front and rear. Overall, though, it looks pretty good, and for a Matchbox Collector's Edition or Matchbox Collector Series, this is not a bad release, and I am definitely looking forward to getting my hands on the other things that are in this series, especially that Pagani. I want to check that one out. So hopefully I can find that one soon. Next, from Inno64, this Honda Civic Ferio Group A number 16 in Castrol Mugen livery. This thing is this thing is awesome. It's just amazing. So get it off the base here real quickly and take a look at it. So is this, oops, get that out of there. Just amazing detail on Inno64s. And so, if you've watched any of my other videos, I talk about brands being premium. Like, I consider Mini GT to be a premium brand. And then I talk about brands being super premium, and I consider Inno64 to be a super premium brand. And the big distinguishing factor between the premium and super premium is the fine details. So like on this casting, since this is a race car, there's this little tiny tow hook here. You have the antenna. There should be there's a tow hook on the back as well, and the exhaust, and then usually the interior. So if you look in the interior, it's going to be a little bit hard to see in there, but you can see the seat belts are detailed, and you have the harnesses and everything. And that is the dividing line between what I consider. You can even see there on the dash, there's a Castrol logo on the dash, and that is the kind of thing that you'll get from the what I consider super premium brands versus simply the premium brands of Mini GT. Even though I absolutely love Mini GT, and I think this, the Mini GT level of diecast is really the sweet spot for detail versus handleability and I don't know, rolling around your desk duty. I like that. But when you want an accurate replica of something, as much as you can do in 1/64 scale, obviously, it's not going to be truly accurate, given the limitations of the scale. But it's going to be a lot better. And the other little things you'll get, like the wheels. You have the logos on the tires. This does have slicks. This tire's a little messed up. But you typically will have, you can see in there as well, you can see there are brake discs or brake rotors. And it does look like there's calipers in there, although they're not painted or anything. If these wheels were to spin, those looks like the calipers would be fixed, but this one does not roll at all. And that is the compromise that you get with the Inno64. It does look like they're newer castings. They are trying to put a little bit more effort into making them roll, but this one is a little bit older, and it is one of the ones with a metal body and a plastic base, and it does not roll. But still, it's a beautiful model. Very, very cool looking car. And I am not the world's biggest Civic fan, but I do love race cars, and I do have an affinity for the Castrol livery as well. That is one of the liveries that ran on my favorite race car, which is the Jaguar XJR 12, or any of the Jaguar XJR GTP cars. They ran Castrol liveries back in the late 90s. So I've always had an affinity for Castrol. Next up, another in-store find, this time from Hobby Lobby. Getting focus here. We have the 2017 Ford F150 from Greenlight in the Blue Collar Collection series. And this is This one I just thought was cool because it has this roof rack with a ladder on it. I thought that looked pretty neat. And always like that when you get these castings with some character to them. Looks like we've zoom out. Maybe that will help with the focus. Looks like we've got some of the typical Greenlight quality issues. Those windows are messed up. Paint's a little messed up. And it's very frustrating. This is a cool casting, though. It does have inserted headlights, which is nice. Nice chrome grille with the Ford badge on the front. That looks really good. Painted tail lights and Ford badge on the tailgate. It's a nice looking ladder. So it's a pretty cool release. The wheels look a little small to me. Maybe that's just, I don't know. There's pretty big gaps around the wheels. It seems like they should be a little bit larger, but that's okay. And the base, not a huge amount of detail in the base on this one, but yeah, these windows, it's just, yeah. All right, I'm not going to complain about that. I complain about that too much. Next up, from Aerocar, we have this very interesting Toyota Hiace Japan police van with these funky traffic control lights on the top. And we're going to see a couple Japanese police cars today. Along with this one later, we're going to see the Tomica Limited Vintage Acura NSX in Japanese police version, which should be pretty cool to check out as well. So this is very interesting, very funky. Yeah, that's cool. It's got lots of mirrors on it. Look at that. I mean, I assume that's, what is that, a mirror? Is that, you got another mirror here. And yeah, interesting. This is cool. I collect Japanese police cars, so I'm very happy to have this. I also collect Aerocar, so it looks like, yeah, we still have inserted taillight details and headlight details. Japanese license plate, big giant funky lights on the roof. This one has some window issues as well. But yeah, interesting model. No opening parts on this one. It's like most of the time Aerocar does have opening parts. This one does not appear to, but it rolls nicely. Aerocars always do roll nicely. Yeah, it's very cool and very quirky. I love that. That's why I've become a bit of a fan of the brand. They put out vehicles like that, which is cool. Next up, we have something I have not shown in a long time. Hot Wheels. I have not found any Hot Wheels of any form in, I think I mentioned at the beginning, in over a month. So, as I throw the package away, we should look at what this is. So this is the Motor Show 5-pack. This has a 2021 copyright date, so this may be considered a 2022 release. But I know that people were finding this last year. I didn't see it. Our stores have just been completely empty. So it's only recently that there's finally been a trickle of stuff showing up. I still have not found any new mainline Hot Wheels. The latest I've been able to find is 2021 Q case. Although I have seen people finding A and B cases in Arizona where I live. But I have not found any. I've only found Q. But this looks to be a pretty cool 5-pack. So this is the Renault Sport RS. I actually like this casting quite a bit. And this is not a bad looking version of it. It's pretty cool. I like the cast-in Renault on the wing. That's a nice touch. And these wheels look pretty good on it. It's not a super goofy livery. Some of the versions of this they've put out are pretty wacky, but this one's actually pretty cool. Next up we have a Dodge Viper. So this is just the 2013 Viper, and a nice purple color. It's just a gloss purple, bluish purple, I guess you might say. Nice racing stripe on top. I'm not a huge fan of the Viper, although as far as Hot Wheels Viper castings goes, this is one of the nicer ones. It would be even nicer if it didn't have the big giant rear wheel, but it is a Hot Wheels, so you are going to get those things. But no details on the back, but it does have headlight detail, which is cool. Like that. Then the Aston Martin Vulcan in this orangish, metallic orange color. I have mixed feelings about this car. I really liked it at first, and I have been collecting it, so I'm very happy to have this version of it. But it is a little bit of a weird looking car, but not the worst of the Aston Martins that Hot Wheels has done. That the other one that they do is the Valkyrie or something. That thing is hideous, terrible casting. But the Vulcan's pretty cool. And then the Jaguar, what is this one called? XE SV Project 8 in metallic purple. I like this car quite a bit. They've put out a lot of really cool versions of it. This one you do get full detail on the front and on the back, which is really nice. These wheels actually look kind of cool in all black. I'm not a the purple color. A little mixed feelings about that. I think there are definitely better versions. Like they did it in this color, and it looks really good in that color. And then of course in British racing green, that version of the car looks really good as well. This one's not bad, but I don't know. Maybe it'll grow on me. It's cool. And then last one is the Lamborghini. This is the Sesto Elemento. This looks really cool. Yellow and red. And you get the headlight detail from the top tampo and nothing on the rear. And at first I was not a fan of this Lamborghini at all, but I actually did a custom of one once, and that gave me quite a bit more appreciation for the car, and I'm now quite a fan actually, and Lamborghinis overall. Like when I started collecting, I was not really that big a fan of Lamborghinis. That has definitely changed, and later on we're going to take a look at a really cool Lamborghini from Mini GT that just came out, which is pretty awesome. But before we do that, we're going to take a look at this tiny HK Mini Cooper, and this is the Union Jack livery. So, tiny HK, another very quirky brand like Aerocar. They don't put out a lot of cars. In fact, I think they only have maybe 3 or 4 or maybe 5 car castings. They do a lot of buses and a lot of commercial vehicles and that kind of stuff. But the Mini Cooper is something that they have put out a whole bunch of different versions of, and so it's pretty cool. So this is the older. I think they have a couple different Mini Cooper castings. This is the older 60s version, I guess. Doesn't really say Mini Cooper Mark 1. Yeah, so that would have been a 60s version. And this looks actually quite nice. I mean, I don't know if this is to scale. Let's see if we put it next to a Mustang. Yeah, that's not to scale. This version of the Mini Cooper was a very small car, so it's definitely large. It looks like it probably has opening doors, and it does. And let's see, can we see in this interior at all? Actually, it's not a bad looking interior and full steering wheel. seats. So I put, Tiny HK is, what I would consider premium diecast. They do attempt to do, fairly accurate models. They are not necessarily true 164. Obviously, this is bigger, and a lot of their stuff, like they do buses and stuff. And we're going to take a look at one of their buses later. They're they're definitely like 1/10 scale or something like that. They're much smaller. But this looks pretty cool. This is actually a pretty decent version of this car. The front end looks really good, and I actually like this a lot more than I expected I would. It's very nice. Next, from Paris 64, this is Toyota Land Cruiser, their 70 series Land Cruiser. Been a lot of Land Cruisers coming out from different diecast brands, and so Paris 64 is no exception. And it's a fairly basic version. There's not anything, super fancy or super exciting about this. It does have a snorkel, which is kind of cool. And they did do tread on the tire. I'm very happy to see that, because that's been a real weakness with some of the Paris 64 releases, is that they do not have treaded tires. And this one even has a spare tire with rubber tire on it. That's very nice. And then your typical inserted details for taillights and your headlights. That looks really good. And these wheels, the wheels and tires on this one look a lot better than the older Paris 64 releases. So this one is a fairly new casting. I believe this may be one of the first releases of it. So that's good. Hopefully they continue to do this, and they do properly treaded tires on all their other releases. That'll be very cool. So nice. Yeah, this is I'm pretty big fan of Paris 64 as a brand. So, and that's a very nice version. It's not a super exciting version. There's like those kind of vehicles I really love the ones that have, like roof racks or skis or something on the top, that kind of thing. That definitely appeals to me. Or, things like this truck with a ladder on it. I don't know. I like that stuff for some reason. But next up, our second Japanese police car, this time the Honda Integra. So I think it was last week we took a look at this yellow one, which is absolutely beautiful. It's fantastic release from Tomica Limited Vintage. And now we have it, same car, but in a police livery. And again, you have the add-on mirrors and then the little pick thingy to help you open the moving part, so that you can check out the engine. Well, let's take a look at this. 1998 NSX, and I guess we'll do a quick look around the box. Lots of Japanese in the typical Tomica Limited Vintage box. But here we go. So this thing is, again, just like the yellow one, it is super cool. Really cool looking light bar. Excellent looking wheels. Looks like there are supposed to be brake discs in there, but it doesn't seem to have any calipers or anything. You get the the typical white license plate, and those taillights, man, that looks fantastic. And then, of course, we have the opening rear window, and then this is different. So if we open the yellow one. The yellow one has like a mesh for the engine cover. And then on the police one, it is solid. So that is a nice, surprising difference. If I can get this to open, there we go. So let's see. Now we have to compare the engine. Is the engine the same? Details are a little different. The engine is the same. It's painted differently. There's a red section painted on the police version, which is not painted on the yellow one. But it does appear to still be there, whatever that is. But yeah, very cool. Very nice. And it's going to be hard to see inside there. Yeah, we're not going to really be able to see inside there. But yeah, that is focus. That is a very cool version and a very nice addition to my international police car collection. So very happy we'll put these two together. All right. Next, another tiny release. So this is something that the brand does a lot of. So in Hong Kong, they have lots and lots of double-decker buses that are various different bus companies and running all kinds of liveries. And Tiny has put out a ton of these different buses. And so I just picked up one example just to have one to check it out. I don't really intend to collect buses, but I do, like to check out the brand and see this kind of thing. This is obviously a little bit of an older bus. What was this? It said on here. It was the Daimler Fleetline DMS Yellow. And from what I've seen of the buses that they do, they do very accurate liveries on them. This one doesn't have a whole lot going on. I probably should have picked a fancier one. I don't know why I didn't. I think I wanted this one because it was an older bus. All the other ones that were available were very modern buses, and I kind of wanted to check out this older casting, which is very cool. So it's a metal body, and then a plastic base, and then plastic tires. And you got dually plastic tires on the back. But it's very cool, and it rolls. So they have tons of these. In all kind, like I said, all kinds of different versions. I'm gonna say there's at least I've seen. I don't know. There's probably 100 different versions, different buses, different liveries, and so on and so forth. But this is pretty neat. I don't know if I'm gonna be collecting buses now. I hope not. I already collect too many things. I guess we should talk about this next car. So, another Aerocar. This is the Honda Integra Type R DC2. This casting's pretty rare in the U.S. They don't seem to, or the hobby dealers that sell Aerocar in the U.S. seem to not bring this one in for some reason. I'm not exactly sure why, but it looks like a pretty cool casting, and there are quite a few different versions of it, so I did want to have an example, and so I was able to get this one. It looks good. You don't see a whole lot of this Integra. I know there are a few other companies that have done it, but it's not a very common car, and I always remember it being something that was pretty popular, and there were a lot of people had real affinity for it, and it's a cool little car. So this one does have opening doors, nice red interior, very nice. You know, you get inserted headlights and taillights. And my camera is just not focusing today. 2019. That is not a 2019, is it? No. That must be when this was released. This model was released, because that is definitely not a 2019 Integra. Yeah, the box doesn't say. Anyway, so Aerocar rolls. It's a nice model. Oh, and I drop it. Ugh, okay. Cool. Next, another in-store find and something else that really surprised me. So I found some new to me Majorette. However, I'm perplexed that the new arrivals in store seem to be the same Majorette that we were getting previously. So I haven't seen Majorette in Target in probably 10 months. And I did find Majorette in Target. I did actually find this one in Target, but I found it in Target after I had found it at Hobby Lobby. And I bought it at Hobby Lobby, and I paid $7 for it at Hobby Lobby. If you buy it at Target, it'll cost you $4. So try to find your Majorette at Target if you're going to collect Majorette. But yeah, so as I was saying, these are the same. It seems to be the same mix of stuff that we got previously. I never found this particular Land Rover, but I have seen other people who have found it at Targets in the past. And I don't understand why Majorette would continue to bring in the same mix of stuff 10 months later. I mean, I'm glad to be able to get this Land Rover because I do collect this casting. This version seems to have a chrome engine. That's kind of interesting. And this is the first version of the casting that I have that has a wheel on the hood, which is kind of cool. Or at least the first version that I have in my collection. But yeah, I would have liked to have seen them bring in, maybe these things have been stuck that long, maybe they've been stuck in a container offshore for the last 10 months, and these were supposed to arrive last year. I suppose that's possible. But anyway, so this is Majorette, has suspension, rolls nicely, and hopefully there's some truly new Majorette coming. And I am happy to have found some Majorette that I didn't have, but I am perplexed at why we're 10 months later still getting the same mix of stuff that we had before. Okay, that's enough about that. I am happy to have that, though. I've wanted that Land Rover for quite a while. Next up from Mini GT, we have this LB Works Lamborghini Huracan, and this is a Fighter Works livery. This looks super cool. So this is collector number 258. I don't believe I have a version of this particular style of Lamborghini. I have several Mini GT Lamborghini Huracans, including several other LB Works versions, but this one has like a spine on the rear wing and a different rear wing, which looks pretty cool. And this is definitely a very cool version of this car. I like this. This style of rear wing is very, very cool. I think the body works a little bit different as well. I don't think I have... Yeah, I did not grab a Huracan, LB Works Huracan, and I don't have one within reach. That's unfortunate. But, yeah, this is an awesome version of it. Has the typical Livery Walk saying on the side. And nice Lamborghini logo there. Absolutely nothing on the base. Looks like, is this a separate piece, or I guess that's cast in? I don't know. This is cool. It's a very, very cool version. Yep, love it. Very nice. Then, Greenlight, another new casting. The 2021 Ford Bronco two-door, and this is the VIN number 1 Barrett-Jackson Series, 50th anniversary Barrett-Jackson Series. And what did this sell for? $1,075,000. Absolutely mind-blowing. You can read that if you want. So this was for a charity sale, and the first version of this Bronco. And it's always stunning how much these things go for. And Barrett-Jackson is starting tomorrow here, or in Scottsdale. It's running through all of next week. I'm tempted to go. We'll see if that happens. Not always a huge fan of crowds, so yeah, this is cool. This is my favorite version of the Bronco. I do like the two-door a lot better, so we have the four-door version, and I think the two-door version is really cool for some reason. And it looks better. It looks like the stance. So I was questioning the stance on this one, and it looks like the stance on this is actually the same, but it looks more correct here than it does on this one. It's just like the length of it doesn't look right, and it probably is not far off, but it it just didn't look right to me. But this looks better. It has a weird blue interior. That's really strange. Look at that. That's weird. I don't like that. And I'm going to assume that the real car. Yeah, so it says Navy Pier. The vehicle's light blue exterior is only available in the first edition and features Navy Pier leather trimmed seats inside. Navy Pier. Is that what that color is? Okay, I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird color. It's cool casting though. I like it. I think Greenlight did a pretty good job on this one. Doesn't seem to have any major quality issues either, although I don't think it rolls. Yeah, it doesn't roll. Rear wheels are stuck. Okay, now it rolls. Okay. All right, cool. I like that. I've been waiting for this one for a while, so I'm going to set that right there. Very nice. And then from Sparky, we have a Porsche 911 GT3R GPX Racing. So this is in Gulf livery. And this was the winner of the 24 Hours of Spa 2019. So Gulf livery fans will have something new to collect. I personally am not the biggest fan of the Gulf livery. There's been too many releases that put it out. This one does look pretty nice. I like the black. The addition of the black to it gives it a little bit more of a uniqueness versus a lot of the other Gulf liveries that are out there. So it looks like this rear wheel. Yeah, this rear wheel has some paint. Paint got on there a little bit thick and pooled up in the spokes. That's unfortunate. But yeah, I love Sparky, love GT3 cars, love Porsches. So this checks a lot of boxes for me. Nice roll cage in there. You're not going to get a super detailed interior on a Sparky. because Sparkies are typically $10 to $12, so they're pretty decent quality for the price. And there's nothing on the base. It doesn't even tell you that it's a Sparky. You can tell it's a Sparky by this notch, because their little plinth has this. This is a nice feature. You don't need a screwdriver to remove them, but no information at all. But they do a great job otherwise. They get all the sponsorship logos correct. And I have taken these and gone and found the photos of the actual car and compared them. And Sparky does a fantastic job for a 1/64 scale model. It's good stuff. And it looks like this one kind of sort of rolls. They do seem to be focusing a little bit more on that. Their older models do not roll at all. Their newer ones are hit and miss still. Some of them roll, some of them don't. But this one does, and that's good. The older they've done several versions of the Porsche GT3 casting, and the older ones did not roll. But all right, moving on. This is the last one. So Greenlight Hollywood. This was another in-store find at a Target. 1968 Dodge Charger RT, and I can already tell this. This wheel's pretty wonky. Wish I had noticed that. Look at that. That's terrible. Awful, awful. It's like, why can't? Yeah. Anyway, I'm not gonna complain. This is a cool car. It's just gloss black. It would look really good if that tire wasn't all messed up. Let's see. Does the other side look better? Yeah. So we can look at it from the other side. They're not perfect, but can at least appreciate it. A flat black roof. And you've got nice painted details, nice license plate. What's the New York license plate's a little warped, so not super nice actually. So it's cool, pretty cool. Nice green engine, the orange air filter on it. Yeah, it's nice, except for that. Greenlight is so frustrating. All right. Thank you for watching.